Do you take showers?
Yeah,
What I mean is, do you shower or you take a bath?
I shower. I shower.
Oh, now you shower, but why is it you don't take a bath?
I have bad memories from taking baths. I mean, cold water, dirty. I mean, come on.
Oh, so you got in a habit as soon as you could switch to showers.
I know. I just like taking showers. I mean, I'm like any normal American now. I think that they'd rather take a shower than a bath.
Not me. I'd rather take a bath. I'd rather be lazy and sit down in the bathtub.
Do you have the same kind of memories as Mateo?
Pretty close, yes.
You want me to tell you? The bathrooms in Bulgaria, not Romania, but Bulgaria, they had, of course, public bathrooms, restrooms, water closets, what they call them over there, and you'd have to pay 20 stutinki to use, which is Bulgarian money.
Now, is that 22 stinky?
Stutinki.
Stutinki?
Stotinki.
Okay.
Pronounced correctly, yes, stotinki. To use the restroom. And they give you this little square toilet paper that you could use if you needed it.
One piece?
Maybe two, but you had to ask for it. If you didn't ask for it, they weren't going to give it to you. So I'm going to do some business. I need those two squares, and if you had to have money on you if you want to use the restrooms there. But as far as if you're
But how much money would that be here in American money?
10 cents back then, not even maybe 10 cents. But everybody's not American there. It's not. I mean, most people, if they just go take a leak around the corner or something, they're not going to pay their 10 cents to.
Because that's a lot of money for a lot of the people.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but that's very common in Europe to pay to go to the restrooms.
I can remember sometimes when I had to use a restroom when I was staying in the village in Bulgaria. We would have to walk out to the outhouse, which might be decent ways off sometimes, and we just throw on some flip-flops and have to walk out in the mud. For some reason, there was always a lot of mud around there. I guess all the livestock walking around and stuff, too. Yeah, they didn't have any grass. And you just walk into the outhouse, and there's a little hole in the little hole over in a concrete slab or something, and they'd always have water bottles in there, and they'd always wash themselves with a certain hand. So when they shake your hand, they shake with.
They wipe with the left hand so that.
When they shake your hand with your right hand, yes, that's basically. And so they didn't never had any toilet paper in the outhouses either, and
Students by now have heard lots of cultural lessons, and some of them a lot like what we're talking about. Like to expect restrooms not to have a shiny potty everywhere you go, and also to be on guard for, they need to carry their own toilet paper in a lot of cases. But how is it that these people go in there? I mean, we all want to know. And they have no toilet paper. Do they bring it with them?
What people?
The people that...
Residents?
Well, Marcos, what you're talking...
no, yeah, the people that live there, the people that use the outhouses, they don't have any toilets.
They use their hand. That's what the water bottles are in there. They wet their hand down, they clean themselves, and then they clean their hand. So you never shake anybody with your left hand because that's a disgrace.
Yeah, that's basically what the Turks and Gypsies would do.
Okay, we're talking about the Turks and the Gypsies.
Well, I mean, it's actually like that for Bulgarian people with outhouses. I mean, it would be Bulgarian sometimes, and it would be
In the village outhouse. I'm not saying if you go into the city, it's going to be that way. But as far as the outhouses, yeah, that's when you walk in there and you see a bottle of water. Don't think it's so they clean the place. It's so they can clean their hand with it.
We have a joke in English, a little song that you guys may have never heard because you didn't grow up here. Stranded on the bathroom bowl. What do you do when you're stranded and you don't have a roll? To prove you're a man, you must wipe with your hand. Stranded on the bathroom bowl.
So that's true. Yeah, so that's a true story as far as they're concerned over there.
And see, here it was a joke, and it was using a song that was a famous television show with the cowboy, or the cowboy days, and the show was called Branded.
in the city where there's toilets, they probably have toilet paper, so they would do it like that. But in the villages, that's how everyone does it.
This would be an extraordinary culture shock for an American to go over there because they're just so used to paper, 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 paper everywhere, and they throw, we got paper wrappers on everything. We throw everything away.
We made outhouses because that's just how everyone in the village and stuff is used to doing it. So we just built some outhouses, dug a big hole, put a concrete slab, drilled a few holes we had a few holes in there. So yeah, it's just how everyone does it over there.
Actually, in the village, they find it weird to have a commode in your house because
A commode, a regular toilet.
yeah, a commode, a toilet. They think that it's almost unclean to do that kind of business in your house. It should be done outside, not in your house.
Yeah, that's why I guess they always make them outside, especially one thing is every time you walk out there, of course, it smells flies and stuff.
But even the modern day outhouses out there that have an actual commode with water, it's still not in the house. It's still out away from the house.
So they say the house is no place to go to the bathroom.
Yes. Yes.
My dad was almost thinking about doing that in our house. My mom said, "Yeah, you can move somewhere else. We're going to have the commode in the house. We don't care."
So he was going to follow the custom and build the toilet outside about 60 feet or something like that.
Yeah, just say get lost, basically.
Okay. Now, some people might think that what we just talked about is so gross, but let me get this straight. You don't see what we just talked about as gross.
Oh, yes, definitely. I don't see it as gross because that's how everyone grows up over there, basically.
Mateo?
Well, I mean, I have a lot of different views. I can look at it in American view, your Western view, or I can look at it in your Eastern or European view. And so I can look at both sides and understand how both people would feel from both sides. Of course, if I'm looking at an American view, I'm going to say, that's weird. Like, go get you some paper. That's, unclean. But then I can see over there them saying, why am I going to go spend money on paper when I can just use my hand?
Okay. 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 No, I'm laughing because I'm thinking of all these Americans listening to this. I'm on your wavelength, and I'm sure that many of these students are on your wavelength by now because we've talked about these issues. And we're going to ask these students and staff not to think of this as something gross. All right. But that's why you won't find this thing at a tourist trap because you're just passing through there. You're just stopping by for a few days, and they want you to have a good time. However, you won't get to know the people there, and you're not going to see the people there. Marcos, are you glad to have been raised in another country? A lot of people would say, I'm sure glad I didn't grow up there.
I'm glad I grew up over there because just it makes me see the whole world better. It gives me a big picture. Just a lot of good experiences. Getting to meet all kinds of cultures. I'm definitely glad I grew up over there.